Hello, here I am with Bill, who today is a specialist in scars and gore makeup for Halloween. So, Bill, tell us about how you make scars.
Well, what we try to do in these classes is identify materials that are easy to find, like at the supermarket or pharmacy, and teach people how to use them to create really convincing and high-quality gore Halloween type effects. So that's what we've been trying to help people out with today. One of the things that you'll see here, one of the things that we specialize in, is foamed gelatin. So you can see it almost feels like a marshmallow. It's kind of sticky. What we do is we take a packet of Knox flavored gelatin, or Knox unflavored gelatin, add to that 1 tablespoon of sorbitol and 1 tablespoon of glycerin. Both of those items are usually easy to come by at a pharmacy. You put that in the microwave for about 10 seconds, stir it up, let it cool down a little bit, maybe give it another 10 seconds, repeat that 3 or 4 times. You don't want to get the gelatin too hot because you'll destroy it, but keeping it at that elevated temperature for 3 or 4 minutes will allow the gelatin to bloom. To that, we'll add a half a teaspoon of lemon juice and then 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. And that will foam up and it will become something very similar to marshmallow whip. And then you can just take that stuff as soon as it's cool and just apply it directly to your skin. It's nice and sticky, and you can swirl it around to make burn marks. You can make stripes with it for scratches or scars. And then once it's completely cooled down, you just go over it with a light brush of baby powder. And that will make it so that you can touch it and apply makeup to it and everything. So it's a really fun way to do a large area of a custom 3D makeup effect. So that's one of the things that we teach here. That's not the end of what we do with gelatin. If you don't put the baking soda and lemon juice in, the gelatin will stay in something of a thick liquid state, and you can pour it into molds. You can see here we've created, we sculpted a horn out of some clay. We cast that, in fact, I just sculpted it right into the base of a styrofoam food container.
Okay.
And then over the top of that, I poured plaster of Paris and I let that set up. And I removed all of the clay from that, and I was left with a mold for horns. And I actually made 2 of them because most of the time you need a pair. And then what I'll do is I'll just take Vaseline and a brush and make sure that the mold has plenty of Vaseline on it, and I'll pour the gelatin in there. Once again, no lime juice or lemon juice and no baking soda. You just want to pour the straight gelatin in. Put some saran wrap over it and something heavy, and then let it set up. And once it's good and set up, you can pull it out of the mold, and you end up with a nice appliance that you can use, prosthetic adhesive or spirit gum, to apply this.
Okay.
And you'll see that we've got quite a bit of flashing around this. This is actually a really nice thing. It gives you something to put the adhesive on, but you don't want to see those lines. So you, once again, taking just a regular pharmaceutical item, some witch hazel, on a brush, you can the witch hazel will kind of dissolve the gelatin a little bit and allow you to blend out the edges.
Okay.
So very simple designs. There's a horn. Here's a bullet hole that we made in the same appliance, and I just added a little bit of food coloring to give me a base. This wouldn't be all I would do. I would apply lots of makeup to this, but just to kind of jump start the makeup effect. Here is a raised scar with some really bad stitch work that we would maybe glue some pieces of thick string or something to make it look like a Frankenstein hack job of appliances. And then one other thing that we teach people how to do are custom fangs. In previous years, we've had people interested in taking an impression of their own teeth, and then we teach them how to build some custom fangs that will fit right back on.
Oh, cool.
So as I mentioned, those are what we want to do is present stage quality makeup techniques, but in ways that are much more affordable and a little bit more practical, so that you can crank them out for their one-time use in Halloween.
And you can reuse these, right?
Yeah, most of this stuff you could reuse, but the nice thing about it is, for example, this piece of gelatin, if this was an effect that I was trying to create and it didn't turn out right, I could just put it back into the microwave, melt it back down, and try again. And even when you've got an appliance that works for you, if you're careful when you remove it, you can use it over and over. So going to the extent of sculpting and casting something is really not something you'd want to do for just one time.
Right.
But maybe you've got a whole group of friends that you want to have matching sets of horns or something. Then it makes sense to just sculpt them once, cast them in a little bit of plaster Paris, and pour out a bunch of sets of horns so that everybody has matching horns. Or something that you'll make over and over. The direct stuff that you just smear on is really nice for a one-time zombie burn Freddy Krueger kind of technique, and it doesn't need to be highly customized, and it goes on really quick.
Well, that's great. I'm curious, where did you learn all of this?
Well, a lot of it, the basics of the techniques they teach in theatrical makeup classes, which in my involvement with Carol LaForge and the Encore Theatre Company, I've taken about 3 years worth of those courses. And they teach you some more lasting techniques, like working with liquid latex or baked latex. Those materials are expensive and somewhat unforgiving, though a lot more durable. And so what I've done is I've kind of scoured the internet and looked for alternatives that would fit better into a community theater's budget. So as we've needed to do some occasional special effect makeup work, I've looked for alternatives that still will stand up to an entire 2-hour performance or 3-hour performance, but doesn't require us to invest a lot of money in that effect. And in so doing that, we discovered that a lot of people would like to use those same things for Halloween because, Halloween comes once a year and everybody likes to put on the makeup and get a great costume going, but you just can't afford to drop several $100s into the makeup effect if you're just going to wear it for a couple of hours.
Right. Well, that's great that we have these alternatives.
Yeah.
I noticed that you got your face painted. Half of your face?
I did. What we were teaching is you don't always have to use 3D makeup to create a 3D effect. And Carol also taught a lot of the participants that came today how to create some 3D effects using just makeup and highlight and low light, very similar to painting techniques to create some dimension. So you can see on this side of my face, she has created an old age effect complete with some saggy jowls and I'll take my glasses off so that you can see the puffiness under my eyes and the wrinkles and things like that.
It's very believable.
So yeah, and that is, there's no actual 3D makeup there. This is all just done with the cream-based makeup using shadowing and contouring techniques.
Wow, that's really great. Thank you so much for talking to us today.
You're welcome.
you.